Welcome to this new project. We're going to be doing a Tetris game, a 2D Tetris game, and it'll be very close to the original. We'll get through sort of the basics, and then there'll be some additional stuff that we can work on, but we'll be able to get through a pretty basic Tetris game without too much trouble or too much time. Really, it's quite simple. So what we'll do is we'll create a new project here. And so I'm going to call this Tetris. I'm just going to make sure I've got a new folder. My zombie, let me just see here. I don't know why it's inside Scramble. 2D, here's Tetris. I'm going to put it in my Tetris folder here. I've got some tiles already that I've created. I'm just going to create a new folder here to put actually the game. So I'll just put Tetris game, I guess. So I'm going to select this folder and build my game in here. All right, so I'll just call this Tetris. All right, so I'm gonna make sure you don't have to worry about, you can switch it always. It's gonna be a 2D game. I'm gonna create that. All right, so hopefully it's just opening and closing that, bringing it up. And really in this video here, we're gonna set up hopefully most of the game and get the prefabs going as well. So like most things, we're going to set up a few folders here. So I just want to take this one, and I'm going to call it graphics. Okay, so we're going to put our graphics in there. I'm going to put a new folder called resources, and I'll speak to this one, the importance of it later on. Now, of course, that one's gone inside. It should always seems to do. So just click on that, click back on the assets. Create a new folder again, scenes, or scene, we'll just call it scene there, that's fine. And one more, make sure we're in the assets folder here for our scripts. And we'll be using C# scripts, okay, for this game. One other thing, just into resources, what I'm going to do is create my prefabs folder in there. So I'm actually putting my prefabs inside the resources. You can always move it in there later, it's not critical at the moment. But that's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to have two scenes. I'm just bugging me here, so I'm just going to make sure I put an S there. And the two scenes we're going to have are basically the level. So I'm just going to save this scene and I'll put it into my scenes folder here. So I'm going to call it, like I said, level. Okay, so I've saved this scene here, and I'm just going to set up the other one as well. So I'm going to save scene as in my scenes. And so I've got the one there, and the other one is going to be my game over level. Okay, so I've got those two levels saved. And so basically we've just created some, basic, sort of a setup here. Okay, so we've got our game sort of organized. What I want to do next is find the graphics. And so like I said, I've got the graphics here, these minnow tiles. And I'm going to just grab those, and I'm just going to take all of those. And, if you want to change these up, that would be fine. You'd sort of follow the same pattern here. Okay, just going to go out. I'm going to go into my Tetris game, and I'm going to put that under my assets, under my graphics, and just paste those in there. Okay, so you'll find those on the common drive. No, it's not pasting. Let me just go out one level. Oops, there we are, and just paste them in. Paste. Didn't get them. Just a second. Gotta go up one more level. Sorry. Okay, the tiles. I thought I had those copied. Copy. Okay, try again. Tetris game, Tetris assets, graphics. Okay. Paste. There we go. So I'm just pasting all those graphics in there. And like I was saying, these graphics aren't particularly difficult to make, and you could change them up if you want to. So hopefully they've been brought in, and there they are. We just have to do a couple things when they're in. They are, so here they all are, and in fact, I think I should be able to select all of them so we can do with all of them. And you can see them all here. They're just basically little squares that we're going to use to set up our shapes. Like I said, you could change them. Now, they are set up by 32 by 32. So instead of 100 here, I'm going to put 32. And the idea is that basically one unity unit is going to be occupied by one of these squares. And that's going to make it a lot easier when we want to place them, which we'll do in this. And then when we want to start moving them, we can just sort of move them at basically 1 unit per second in a way. So we want to make sure that that pixels per unit is set to 32. And the filter mode, this as well, we want to make sure that we set it to point with no filter there. Okay, so apply that, and then that should be able to get that going there. So what we're going to do is basically create the shapes. And like I was saying, these are the basic ones, and you can see sort of they're called minnow J, minnow L, minnow long, minnow S, minnow square, minnow T, and minnow Z, and then the grid as well. The idea is that they're sort of called tetraminos. And so each little one is called a mino. I didn't know this before I started making Tetris. And then the 4, tetra, 4, okay, is what when they're put together. So each of these are a mino, and I've just given them a different color, so therefore they have a different name there. So what we're going to do is create basically a prefab. Okay, so I'm going to we'll do the minnow J first here. Whoops, I don't want to drag them all in. Just take one. And we're on parameters, so we're an animator there. We don't need the animator, but that's why I'm having problems. There's my scene. Okay, just drag it in. And we won't worry too much about its location right at the moment. What we're going to do, though, is create a prefab. And we're going to make actually a bunch of prefabs here. So I'm going to create an empty. And so this one, we will call basically the tetramino J. So let me just name this. And I'll just do it like that. So tetramino J. Okay. And so there it is there. And so make sure that's set to 0, 0, 0, which it is. And I'm just going to drag this guy in. Okay, so it's just going to be an element of this. And we need 4 of these. So I'm just going to go Control D, Control D, Control D. So we've got 4. They're one on top of the other here at the moment. But now we're just going to organize them into their location. So I'm going to take one of them. It doesn't matter which one it is. I'll just take the top one. And we basically have locations for each of them. So I'm going to set this one to 1, 0. Okay. Next one, I'm going to set to 0, 1. Okay. And you can start to see them placing themselves out. The other next one, -1, 1. And the last one, 1, 1. Make sure that that looks right. This one doesn't look quite right. Yeah, this one seems to move over. I think it's supposed to be 0 there. There we go. All right. So we've got this shape here, and that looks correct. And so basically, that's our first one. We're going to make that a prefab. So I'm just going to drag it right into my prefabs right now. Okay. So that is basically our J-shaped one. Okay. Now we're basically going to do the same thing for all of these here. So I'm just going, well, I'll keep going here. I was going to say pause and let you do them, but I'll go through them here. So you have to just bear with me. So another game object, empty. This one we'll call our tetramino, and this will be our L. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is grab that graphic. So this is the L one. There it is. I'm just going to drag it inside. And I'm going to copy it again. So Control D, D, D. Okay. This one. Now, just so we can see it, I'm going to move this guy over. Okay. In the end, we'll delete this because we don't need it in our game at the moment. But I'm just going to get these organized. And so now, this one is going to be -1, 0. Okay. Next one. -1, 1. Basically, this is just the opposite of the other one. So the reversed version, 0, 1. And the last one there is going to be 1, 1. Okay, so it's basically just the reverse of the other one there. So they're all located correctly. I'm going to grab that and throw that into my prefabs. Okay, and then just same thing, move that out of the way. All right, a new empty, create empty. Always make sure that that's set to 0 there. Tetramino long. So I'm going to type up long there so we don't get confused. Oops, I'll just do it that way. That's a good name for it. Okay, and then find my graphic. So you can see this is just going to be the same thing over and over again here. Might as well put that inside and then duplicate that. Okay, and then just set these up. So again, -2, 0. This is going to be the long one. So -2, 0. Okay, next one is going to be, what do we got? -1, 0. Whoops. Okay, so we're just forming the row here. And you're right, 0, 0. And then the last one, whoops, 1, 0. Okay, so those ones are there. They're all in that. Make that my prefab again. So I've got 3 prefabs so far. I'm just going to grab this out of the way. Okay, and then my next one. So the next one, again, let's create an empty. Okay, it's good. And this guy is going to be our Tetramino S. Okay, and so this is sort of the S-shaped one. So again, my graphic, there's my S. Throw that inside. You're probably getting good at this. Okay, and then we want to go through our 4 shapes here. And so -1, 0. This guy is going to be 1, 1. Next one, 0, 1. Hopefully this is coming out the right shape. Just a second here. And 0, 0. Good. So this is the one we want here. It's sort of an S shape. So again, close her up, put it into our prefabs. Just maybe move it over a little bit. So I can bring the other one in, create a new one. And this guy is going to be our Tetramino square. So just like you guessed, it's going to be the square-shaped one. Back to our graphics, grab that. Okay, just looking at the time here, and we'll probably get this one done and then we'll have to end. So this one is in, sorry, this guy is 0, 0. Okay. 1, 0. Again, we're just making a square here, 1, 1. And the last one would be 0, 1. So hopefully, there we go. So it's a square. Close. Oops, that's one I didn't put all in here. So I'll just grab them all and throw them into that one. Drag it into our prefabs. And then that one's done. Okay, so we'll end this video here. We've got a couple more to go. We've got the T and the Z. Okay, so we've got to get those 2 done. And then we'll get the grid done as well. All right, so let's end this video here and we'll finish it up in the next one.